We live in a time where the answer to every problem seems to come in a bottle. Can't sleep? Take a pill. Feeling weak? Take a supplement. Low energy? There's a powder for that too. But in our desperate search for strength, we've forgotten something essential. The body already knows how to heal. It always has. Let's talk about magnesium. Yes, it's important. Yes, it supports muscle, nerve, and heart function. But somewhere along the way, it became another miracle fix. We started believing that strength could be purchased, not built. Here's the truth. Real strength doesn't come from what you buy. It comes from what you balance. When you flood your system with supplements, you send your body a message: I don't trust you. And slowly, the body begins to forget its own wisdom, its ability to recover, adapt, and grow stronger through effort and nourishment. The solution, it's not another capsule. It's connection to your body, to your food, and to the discomfort that growth demands. Strength is not built in comfort. It's built in recovery after challenge. In the quiet moments when your body rebuilds from what you've earned, not what you've swallowed. Nature has already written the formula: real food, deep rest, consistent movement, and a mind that doesn't chase shortcuts. The foods rich in natural magnesium, spinach, avocados, almonds, dark chocolate, they don't just feed your muscles, they feed your balance. Because they come with fibers, antioxidants, and energy that teach the body to regulate itself. And when you give your body that chance, it rewards you, not with a temporary boost, but with sustainable power. So maybe it's time to stop asking, what supplement do I need? And start asking, what imbalance am I trying to cover up? Strength is not in the powder. It's in the process. It's in trusting your body again. It's in rebuilding naturally, one honest choice at a time. Real strength is built, not bought. We live in a culture obsessed with quick results. Everywhere you look, someone is selling a faster path to success, a shortcut to health, a supplement that promises to make you stronger overnight. But strength, real, lasting strength, doesn't come from what we buy. It comes from what we build. It's the quiet result of daily discipline, mindful choices, and respect for how the human body was designed to grow. When we reach for supplements as our first solution, we skip the most valuable part of the process: the struggle, the effort, the slow, sometimes uncomfortable journey that actually signals the body to adapt. Think about it. Muscle only grows when it's challenged. The fibers tear during effort, and then, through rest and nourishment, they rebuild stronger than before. No pill or powder can replace that natural cycle. When we chase shortcuts, we interrupt it. Magnesium supplements, like so many others, have become symbols of our impatience. They promise energy, recovery, relief from fatigue. And yes, magnesium is essential for muscle function, nerve stability, and overall health. But somewhere along the way, our trust shifted from our bodies to bottles. We began believing that human strength could be manufactured in a lab, when in truth it's forged in how we live every single day. Every supplement carries a subtle message: you're not enough on your own. When you hear that message long enough, it starts to shape your mindset. You stop listening to your body. You ignore what fatigue, hunger, and tension are trying to tell you. You outsource your instincts to a product, and the more you rely on that external source, the weaker your internal systems become, not just physically, but mentally. Real strength starts with trust. Trusting that your body knows what to do when you nourish it with whole foods, move it with intention, and let it rest without guilt. The body is not broken. It's adaptive, intelligent, and designed to repair itself when given the right conditions. But modern culture teaches us to fear slowness, to avoid discomfort, to patch every problem instead of understanding it. That's why the supplement industry thrives, because it promises relief without responsibility. True strength, however, asks for responsibility. It asks you to show up for yourself even when it's hard. It's the choice to cook real food instead of tearing open another packet. It's going for a walk instead of scrolling through health hacks. It's drinking water and sleeping enough instead of searching for another miracle nutrient. These small, consistent acts build the kind of resilience no supplement can replicate. What makes strength, though, is that it's earned. It's not about looking strong. It's about feeling strong from the inside out. When you build strength naturally, you're not just developing muscles, you're training your mind to stay steady through challenge. You're developing patience, self-control, and confidence. You begin to realize that the process itself, the slow, sometimes frustrating process, is what transforms you. There's something deeply human about earning your strength. It reminds you that you are part of nature, not separate from it. Just like a tree grows stronger against the wind, you grow stronger through resistance. The effort, the fatigue, even the failure, all of it teaches your body how to respond, how to recover, how to rebuild. A supplement might fill a temporary gap, but it can't give you that wisdom. We've been taught to believe that health is a product. But health is a relationship with your body, your habits, your environment. And like any relationship, it requires time, care, and honesty. When you stop chasing quick fixes, you begin listening again, to hunger cues, to fatigue, to the signals your body sends every moment. That awareness is the foundation of real strength. So instead of asking, what supplement will make me stronger, ask yourself, what habit is making me weaker? Is it lack of sleep? Too much processed food? Constant stress? The answers are rarely glamorous, but they're powerful. Because once you start addressing those truths, your body responds, naturally, intelligently, and sustainably. You don't need to buy your strength, you need to earn it. With real food, with movement that challenges you, with rest that restores you, with a mindset that values long-term health over instant gratification. In a world addicted to speed, real strength is rebellion. It's saying no to the hype, no to dependency, and yes to the deeper, slower, more honest process of rebuilding from within. It's remembering that you already have what you need. You just have to stop covering it up with what you don't. Strength is not something you swallow, it's something you grow into. And when you choose to build it naturally, every cell in your body remembers what it means to be alive, resilient, and truly powerful. Over-supplementation weakens body trust. That sentence may sound simple, but it holds a quiet truth about how disconnected many of us have become from our own biology. The modern world has taught us to depend on something external for every internal need. We take pills to sleep, powders to wake up, and capsules to calm down. Somewhere along the line, we stopped listening to what our bodies were trying to tell us, and instead we started silencing those signals with supplements. When we constantly reach for synthetic solutions, we unintentionally send our bodies a message, you can't handle this without help. Over time, that message becomes a belief. The body begins to rely on outside input to do what it once did naturally. It forgets the rhythm of hunger and fullness, the cues of fatigue and recovery, the delicate balance between effort and rest. And in that forgetting, something powerful is lost, the deep trust that connects you to your own physical intelligence. Think about how the human body evolved. Long before pharmacies and health stores existed, we thrived through adaptation. The body learned to respond to stress, to heal after strain, to recover after depletion. It had its own ways to restore magnesium, regulate hormones, and build resilience. But now, when we interrupt those natural systems with constant supplementation, we rob the body of its opportunity to practice self-regulation. It's like using training wheels forever. You stop learning how to balance on your own. Magnesium supplements are a perfect example. They can be beneficial when used wisely, especially in cases of true deficiency. But for many people, the supplement becomes a crutch, something they take daily without ever questioning why their levels might be low in the first place. Instead of asking what's draining their energy or affecting absorption, they simply pop a pill to fix the symptom. That's not healing, that's masking. And every time we mask instead of listen, the body loses a little more of its voice. This isn't just about chemistry, it's psychological. When you depend on external fixes, you slowly weaken your confidence in your own capacity to recover. You start believing you're fragile, that something is missing in you. You forget that fatigue can be restored by sleep, that anxiety can be calmed by breath, that soreness can fade with rest and hydration. Supplements become symbolic of mistrust, a quiet declaration that nature got it wrong and modern marketing got it right. But the truth is, your body isn't broken. It's overwhelmed, often by modern habits that confuse its signals. Too much caffeine, too little sleep, high stress, processed food, all these factors interfere with natural balance. When you address those causes instead of layering supplements on top, you begin to rebuild communication with your body, you begin to trust it again. And that trust is what allows real strength, stability, and vitality to return. Trusting your body doesn't mean rejecting science or ignoring genuine medical needs. It means respecting the difference between support and dependence. A supplement can help bridge a gap, but it shouldn't replace the foundation. Just like emotional trust, physical trust is earned through consistency. You build it every time you nourish yourself with real food, move your body with purpose, rest when you're tired, and listen when something feels off. Each of those choices reinforces the body's natural rhythm. When that trust is strong, you don't panic every time you feel low energy or a dip in performance. You understand that the body has cycles, that fatigue is not failure but a signal for rest, that soreness isn't a flaw but a sign of adaptation. You begin to work with your biology, not against it. You stop demanding constant output and start respecting the ebb and flow that keeps you alive. Over-supplementation breaks this cycle by dulling awareness. It convinces you that every discomfort must be corrected immediately instead of explored. But discomfort is communication, the body's way of teaching you about imbalance. When you cover that message too often, you lose fluency in your own language. You can't fix what you can no longer feel. So maybe it's time to ask a deeper question. What if you didn't need more pills, but more patience? What if you didn't need to add something, but to subtract the noise, the pressure, the constant search for more? Healing often begins when we stop chasing and start noticing, when we pause long enough to hear what the body has been saying all along. Rebuilding trust with your body is one of the most powerful things you can do. It doesn't happen in a day, and it doesn't come in a capsule. It's a quiet process of returning to yourself, meal by meal, breath by breath, moment by moment. When you begin to honor the signals your body sends, you reconnect with something ancient and reliable, the intelligence that has sustained life long before modern wellness trends existed. Over-supplementation weakens body trust because it teaches dependence. But when you let your body lead again, when you stop fixing and start listening, you rediscover the truth: your body was never the problem. It just needed the chance to remember its own strength. True recovery comes from balance, not shortcuts. We live in a world that glorifies speed. We want faster healing, quicker results, instant transformation. But the human body doesn't operate on shortcuts. It's a system built on rhythm, on balance, on cycles of effort and restoration. Real recovery, the kind that lasts, doesn't come from a pill, a powder, or a quick fix. It comes from giving the body what it needs in the right measure, at the right time, with the right intention. Every time you push your body to perform, you create a natural imbalance. Muscles break down, and energy depletes, systems work harder. That imbalance isn't a problem, it's part of growth. But recovery isn't about forcing the body back to equilibrium instantly. It's about letting it find its own balance. When we flood ourselves with artificial boosters, energy drinks, or excessive supplements, we skip the process that actually builds resilience. We rob the body of the opportunity to repair itself the way it was designed to. Balance means respecting both sides of the equation: effort and rest, strain and release, stress and stillness. The culture around us often praises only one side: the hustle, the grind, the relentless pursuit of progress. We're taught that rest is laziness, that slowing down is weakness. But without recovery, effort is wasted. Without balance, progress collapses. Every living system, from a muscle to a forest, needs recovery to sustain growth. Overtraining, overworking, and over-supplementing all have one thing in common: they ignore the body's natural rhythm. Shortcuts might give you a temporary sense of control, but they don't build stability. You might feel a quick burst of energy, a brief spike in performance, but soon after comes the crash, because what's missing is homeostasis, the state where the body restores itself, balancing the pleasure of effort with the relief of rest. Recovery isn't passive, it's active repair. It's when the body integrates the stress it experienced and transforms it into strength. And that process can't be rushed. The truth is, the body knows how to heal, but we rarely give it the chance. We override signals with caffeine, numb discomfort with supplements, and drown fatigue with stimulants. We've become disconnected from the natural language of recovery, the signs that tell us to rest, to eat, to breathe, to slow down. We treat them as obstacles to productivity. But those signals are wisdom. They're the body's way of saying, I'm doing the work. Just give me time. Balance also extends beyond the physical. Recovery is emotional, mental, even spiritual. When you constantly chase progress, you burn through the energy that fuels joy and clarity. You begin to live in survival mode, always striving, never restoring. True recovery means honoring the whole self, eating food that nourishes, moving in ways that heal, sleeping deeply, and allowing moments of stillness without guilt. It means giving as much attention to rest as you give to effort. Nature understands this perfectly. Seasons shift, oceans rise and fall. Even the sun has cycles. The body mirrors these rhythms. When you align with them, when you rest after effort, eat after depletion, and pause after progress, you restore harmony. That harmony isn't just health, it's strength, because balance is what allows you to sustain energy, stay focused, and keep growing without collapse. Shortcuts, on the other hand, create illusion. They promise results without the process. But what they really do is separate you from your body's wisdom. You stop listening, you stop feeling, you stop learning. And when you stop learning from your own biology, you become dependent on the next pill, the next product, the next promise. Balance breaks the dependency. It reminds you that the body doesn't need magic, it needs maintenance. Recovery rooted in balance also builds patience, something modern life constantly erodes. Patience is what allows you to sit through discomfort without running from it, to rest without guilt, to trust that the effort you've made will bear fruit in its own time. When you balance action with recovery, you build not just strength, but resilience, the ability to come back stronger each time. It's easy to chase shortcuts because they make us feel in control. But real control doesn't come from manipulation, it comes from understanding. When you work with your body instead of against it, you learn that healing is not something you command, it's something you allow. The body doesn't need constant intervention, it needs cooperation. So the next time you feel the urge to fix everything fast, pause. Ask yourself, am I helping my body recover, or am I rushing it to perform again? Recovery isn't wasted time. It's the foundation for every strong performance that follows. Every athlete, every artist, Every human being who has achieved sustainable greatness has learned this truth. You can't build without repair. You can't expand without retreat. You can't thrive without rest. True recovery is not glamorous. It's quiet, slow, and honest. It's in the meals you cook with real ingredients. It's in the sleep you protect. It's in the breath you take between demands. It's in the decision to listen instead of push. Because balance isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And when you live in alignment with that wisdom, you stop chasing shortcuts altogether. You realize the power you were searching for was already within you, waiting for balance to bring it back to life. Natural foods teach the body regulation. The human body is not a machine that simply consumes fuel. It's a living, breathing ecosystem, finely tuned to respond to what we feed it. Every bite of real, whole food carries information. It tells your body how to function, how to repair, how to find balance again after stress. When you eat food in its natural form, rich in minerals, fiber, enzymes, and antioxidants, you're not just satisfying hunger, you're communicating with your biology, you're reminding it how to regulate itself. Modern life, however, has disrupted that communication. We've traded nourishment for convenience. The foods most available to us are often stripped of their natural complexity, refined, processed, and engineered for instant gratification. These foods don't teach the body regulation, they confuse it. They flood your system with quick energy but offer no guidance for balance. That's why we crave more and feel less satisfied. We've trained our bodies to expect stimulation, not stability. Natural foods, on the other hand, work in harmony with the body's internal wisdom. Take magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens, avocados, nuts, seeds, and dark chocolate. They don't just deliver magnesium, they deliver context. They come with other nutrients that help your body absorb and use that magnesium properly. They offer fiber that slows digestion, antioxidants that reduce inflammation, and natural fats that help regulate hormones. Every element works together like a symphony, creating balance instead of chaos. When you rely on supplements alone, you give your body an isolated message, one nutrient in high concentration, without the supporting cast it evolved to work with. It's like teaching the body a single word in a language it used to speak fluently. The message is incomplete. But when you eat whole foods, the message becomes rich and complex. The body understands it, interprets it, and responds with stability. Regulation is the body's most powerful form of intelligence. It's what keeps your heart rate steady, your temperature balanced, your mood even, and your muscles functioning smoothly. But regulation depends on feedback, the signals the body receives from what you do, what you eat, and how you live. Natural foods support that feedback loop. Processed foods and synthetic supplements often interrupt it. They overwhelm your systems with either too much or too little of what's needed, creating imbalance where balance should be. Think of it this way: when you eat a handful of almonds, you're feeding your muscles, your brain, and your hormones all at once. You're giving your body the tools to decide what to use, when to use it, and how much to store. That's regulation. But when you take a pill filled with powdered magnesium, the body receives a flood of one thing without context. It's like trying to play a song with only one note. Natural foods also carry a psychological message, one that reconnects you to the act of nourishment itself. When you prepare a meal, when you chew slowly, when you taste real flavors, you're engaging with your body's rhythm. You're creating awareness. That awareness teaches you to notice when you're truly hungry, when you're full, when you're energized, and when you need rest. Supplements can't do that. They don't teach awareness, they bypass it. And awareness is the foundation of regulation. When you pay attention to how different foods make you feel, calm, energized, bloated, sluggish, or strong, you begin to understand your own body's language. You start recognizing patterns. You learn that some foods ground you while others drain you. That's how regulation happens, through observation, through connection, through patience. It's easy to forget that nature already designed everything the human body needs. The soil gives us minerals, plants turn them into nutrients, and we eat those plants to keep the cycle alive. When we eat closer to that source, unprocessed, unaltered, alive, we remind the body of the rhythm it evolved to follow. That rhythm is self-sustaining. It doesn't require constant correction. It knows how to adjust, how to restore, how to heal. There's also a deeper truth here. Natural foods don't just rebuild your body, they rebuild your trust in it. They remind you that healing doesn't have to come in a capsule or from a label. It can come from the earth, from the kitchen, from your own hands. Every time you choose real food over a supplement, you choose connection over convenience. You choose balance over control. The process may not be instant, but it's profound. Over time, your digestion becomes smoother, your energy steadier, your mood more even. That's what regulation feels like. Not highs and lows, not constant chasing, but calm consistency. It's your body learning to rely on itself again. Natural foods are the original teachers. They carry wisdom, not just nutrients. They whisper to the body, you can handle this, you know what to do. And the body listens, it remembers, it adjusts. That's the beauty of real nourishment. It's not about adding more, it's about giving the right kind of support. The kind that awakens the intelligence already inside you. Because the ultimate goal isn't to feed your body more stuff, it's to help it remember how to care for itself. And that's something no supplement, no shortcut, and no hype can ever replace. Discomfort is a teacher, not an enemy. We live in a society that has learned to fear discomfort. We label it as pain, weakness, or failure, something to be avoided or numbed as quickly as possible. But what if discomfort is not the problem? What if it's the body's way of guiding us toward growth, balance, and real strength? Every signal of unease, whether physical or emotional, is the body's language, its way of saying, pay attention. Yet most of us have forgotten how to listen. When your muscles ache after a workout, when you feel fatigue after a long day, or when your emotions feel heavy after a challenge, that discomfort isn't punishment, it's feedback. It's the body's natural process of adaptation in motion. Muscle soreness, for example, means your tissues are repairing. Emotional discomfort often means your beliefs are being tested, your perspective is expanding. Growth never feels good in the moment. It feels uncertain, even painful. But that's because it's reshaping you from the inside out. The problem begins when we treat every form of discomfort as a crisis that needs immediate relief. We reach for painkillers, supplements, distractions, anything to make it stop. In doing so, we interrupt the very process that builds resilience. When we remove discomfort too quickly, we remove the opportunity for learning. It's like taking a seed out of the soil before it sprouts because you can't stand the darkness it's buried in. Discomfort teaches balance. It reminds you when you've pushed too hard, when you need to slow down, when something in your life or habits is out of alignment. It's not there to harm you. It's there to protect you, to signal that a boundary has been reached. The problem is that we've been conditioned to ignore or override these signals in the name of productivity and comfort. We drink coffee to fight fatigue, take supplements to mask nutritional gaps, scroll endlessly to avoid quiet moments of reflection. Each time we do, we dull our sensitivity to life. True strength is not the absence of discomfort. It's the ability to sit with it, understand it, and let it transform you. When you stop running from the signals your body sends, you start learning from them. You realize that fatigue is an invitation to rest, not a failure to push harder. Hunger is a reminder to nourish yourself, not a weakness to suppress. Emotional pain is a sign that something within you needs attention, not a flaw to hide. The body, in its wisdom, uses discomfort as a compass. It directs you toward what needs care. When you avoid it, you drift further from balance. But when you face it with curiosity instead of fear, you begin to heal. Healing is rarely comfortable because it requires awareness, and awareness brings everything to the surface, even the things you've ignored. But that's where transformation begins. In the moment you stop resisting what is uncomfortable and start asking what it's trying to teach you. The truth is, comfort can become a trap. Too much of it breeds weakness. When life becomes too easy, the body and mind lose their sharpness. Muscles weaken without challenge, the spirit dulls without purpose. Discomfort keeps you alive, engaged, and adaptable. It's the tension that makes you grow stronger, just like a tree that develops deep roots when faced with strong winds. In the natural world, nothing grows without some form of stress. The body operates by the same principle. Every cell that rebuilds, every muscle that strengthens, every neural pathway that adapts, all of it is born through resistance. Discomfort is the signal that adaptation is happening. It's not your enemy, it's your training ground. But to use discomfort wisely, you have to approach it with respect. Not all pain should be endured blindly. The key is discernment, knowing the difference between harmful pain and productive discomfort. Harmful pain tells you something is breaking. Productive discomfort tells you something is changing. When you learn that distinction, you begin to trust yourself more deeply. You stop fearing every sensation and start understanding your limits with compassion. Discomfort also builds emotional endurance. In a world that prizes instant gratification, the ability to stay with discomfort, to breathe through it instead of escaping, is an act of power. It teaches patience, humility, and presence. It reminds you that life isn't supposed to feel easy all the time, it's supposed to feel real. So the next time discomfort shows up, in your body, your heart, or your mind, pause before you try to silence it. Ask yourself what it's pointing toward. Maybe it's telling you to rest. Maybe it's asking you to change something that's no longer serving you. Maybe it's simply showing you that you're growing. Whatever the message, listen before you react, because discomfort, when embraced, becomes wisdom. It teaches you where your boundaries are, where your strength lies, and where you still have work to do. It teaches you to respect your body's signals, to trust your process, and to find peace not in comfort, but in alignment. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. It doesn't come to break you down, but to build you up. And if you let it, it will transform you in ways comfort never could. Trust your body's built-in wisdom. Your body is not a machine that needs constant fixing. It's a living, intelligent system that already knows how to find balance. If only you let it. Every heartbeat, every breath, every chemical reaction in your body is guided by millions of years of evolution. Yet somewhere along the way, we stopped trusting that process. We began to believe that health is something we must buy, hack, or supplement. We forgot that our bodies were designed to heal, grow, and adapt without constant interference. When you were a child, you didn't need anyone to teach you how to breathe deeply, when to eat, or when to sleep. Your body told you. You cried when you were hungry, you slept when you were tired, you moved when you had energy. That is your natural intelligence, pure, instinctive, and self-regulating. But as you grew older, the world taught you to override that wisdom. You were told to ignore hunger, to push through fatigue, to silence emotion, to replace real food with formulas, and to depend on external fixes for internal imbalances. Slowly, you drifted away from your own inner compass. Trusting your body's wisdom means remembering that your body is not your enemy, it's not broken. It doesn't need you to micromanage every function. What it needs is your cooperation, your willingness to listen, to slow down, and to support it with what it truly needs: rest, nourishment, movement, sunlight, and connection. When you trust your body, you stop fighting it, you stop labeling every symptom as a sign of failure, you begin to see that fatigue might be your body's way of asking for recovery, not weakness. That hunger isn't lack of willpower, but a reminder of your body's rhythm. That pain isn't betrayal, but a message. Modern life teaches us to distrust the body. We're told that we need pills for energy, powders for nutrition, and routines for control. But when did health become something you have to fight for? Real health isn't built in a supplement jar or a fitness tracker. It's cultivated through awareness. Your body already knows what to do. The heart doesn't need reminders to beat. The lungs don't need instructions to breathe. These systems thrive on rhythm and trust, not constant manipulation. Every time you override your body's signals, by pushing through exhaustion, by numbing pain, or by replacing natural foods with artificial solutions, you weaken that relationship of trust. It's like ignoring a friend who's trying to warn you. The body speaks in sensations: tension, fatigue, hunger, restlessness. But we often drown out its voice with noise, caffeine, screens, and stimulation. Over time, we forget how to hear it. We start looking outward for guidance that was always meant to come from within. Trusting your body doesn't mean rejecting science or medicine. It means understanding that healing begins from within, and that external help should support your body's natural processes, not replace them. There's wisdom in using modern knowledge wisely, but there's also danger in becoming dependent on it. When you lean too much on external aids, you lose touch with your body's feedback system. True healing happens when you reconnect with that inner communication, when you allow your body to tell you what it needs, and you respond with care instead of control. Your body is constantly working for you, even when you're not aware of it. Every cell is regenerating, detoxifying, and recalibrating to keep you alive. The immune system fights silently for your survival. The liver filters toxins without complaint, and the brain adjusts chemicals to maintain balance. Even when you mistreat it, your body keeps showing up. That's not weakness. That's loyalty. That's intelligence in its purest form. And when you finally start trusting that intelligence, your body begins to thrive again. The truth is, your body doesn't need perfection. It needs patience. It needs you to slow down long enough to listen, to notice the signals that whisper before they scream, to honor the rhythms that nature built into you, the rise and fall of energy, the need for light and darkness, the pulse of hunger and rest. When you align with those rhythms instead of resisting them, life starts to flow differently. You stop feeling like you're constantly chasing health and start experiencing it as a natural state of being. There is a deep peace that comes from trusting your body. It's the peace of knowing that you don't have to control everything to be okay. That your body isn't fragile, it's resilient. It knows how to recover, how to adapt, how to heal. The more you trust it, the more it trusts you back. You begin to feel stronger, calmer, more connected. Not because you've added something new, but because you've removed the noise that blocked communication between you and your own biology. So pause for a moment and listen. Not with your mind, but with your body. Feel your breath. Feel your heartbeat. Notice what your body is asking for. Maybe it's rest. Maybe it's movement. Maybe it's a deep breath you've been holding back. Whatever it is, respond with kindness. Because your body isn't a project. It's a partnership. When you learn to trust that partnership, you stop chasing artificial solutions and start living in alignment with the natural intelligence that has guided life for millions of years. That is where real strength, real healing, and real freedom begin, not from the outside, but from the quiet, knowing wisdom that has always been within you.